Round 2.
Let's do it.
Fight. From traditional straight razor shave to more modern styles and trends.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking today about something me and Vinny don't have a lot of on our heads. Hair.
Hey,
No, we're fresh out of that. We're fresh out of that.
you got the beard though.
We do.
Yeah. It just transferred from the top down.
With someone who cuts and styles them, a barber, who is today's guest and uses his skill, creativity, and enthusiasm of his craft to become a sensation on and off social media. Stay tuned to find out who this barber is.
Dun, 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 dun.
My name is Christian Bandera. Welcome to the Escape Podcast. I hope you're doing well this evening. And across from me is my co-host, Mr. Shadowban, a.k.a. Vinny DeSantos.
That's right. That's right. Let's see if we can get shadow banned a little bit more.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, man, we had a really good podcast before. We're going to have a really good podcast right now. So I hope our guest is ready because we're going to deep dive into a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And we might hurt a couple of feelings.
I hope so.
Yeah,
I hope
so.
all the feelings get hurt today.
Yeah, I really hope so, too.
Yeah.
Shadowban again. Boom. All right, ladies and gentlemen, our guest this evening is someone that we've known for quite a bit of time. He has a really good personality. He's a master of his craft. And guys, you'll really like him a lot once you get to know him. Manny Alves, a.k.a. Boston Barber.
Yes, sir.
Good to be here.
Hey,
Thank you
thanks
so
for coming,
much,
bro.
man.
Of
Thanks
course,
for coming.
man. Thank you for having me.
Hell yeah.
We really appreciate it. As always, with every guest, we really appreciate them coming on, but we really appreciate you as well. So, the way the podcast goes is we always like to get everyone's origin story, how they started off, where they came from, until they are now. And I already know we're going to be talking a lot about the P word and the V word. So, the P word, instead of the pandemic, we're going to call it the scamdemic.
Yeah.
We're not going to say the C word either. So, just say the scamdemic.
Scamdemic.
If you want to talk about the needle in the arm, that's going to be the jab.
A little jab action. All right.
Jab. Even though we still got freaking, what's it called? Shadow
Oh,
banned.
yeah. There's no avoiding it.
There's
At this
no
point,
avoiding
they just
it.
know.
Yeah, at this
We're
point.
going to get shadow banned no matter what
It's okay.
keywords or codes we try to use. It just is what it is.
But I know
gotta
we're going
accept
to
it.
I know we're going to talk about it because I know you were open during it. You were doing your thing.
Yeah, a little bit here and there. I was still cutting out of my parents' house.
Yeah. I remember you telling me that.
I wasn't even in a shop.
Yeah. I remember that when we were over at Lindsay's house. We were talking about
Yes.
that. Yes. That's why I met you. That's why I met
Oh,
you.
throwback.
Right.
Damn.
Damn, that
That's
is
a story
right.
on its own.
That's a
Yeah.
story for after
Yeah, we don't need to
hours.
dive into that one on here. Oh man.
I can't believe I forgot about that. Holy. Woo.
Yeah, that's bringing it back, man.
Oh, man,
yeah.
how many years ago was that?
Oh, it's a lot. Too
Like-
many.
Oh fuck, 2 years
Really?
ago?
No, that was a long time more than
What?
Two?
No, it was longer than that, no?
Was it?
that was
It
like
had to be. It had to have been over 3 years for sure.
3.5.
Damn,
3.5
really?
Yeah,
years.
it had to be over
Yep,
3
3.5 years.
For sure. Yeah.
But
Damn, that's crazy.
So that was the first time you met Manny then?
that was the first time I ever met Manny. Yeah, 3.5
That's
years
right.
ago
Oh,
with
wow.
at her house, and you were with Casey at the time.
Yeah,
Your girlfriend. Are
Yep.
you still with Casey?
I am.
Okay, cool.
All right,
cool,
good,
cool,
good,
cool.
good. All right, there we
Okay, I just want to make sure. But like I said, we like to have an origin story for all of our guests. And would you like to give us it where you grew up and how you got into being a barber?
Got you. Yeah. So I grew up in Salem. Even though a lot of people know me, like they think I'm from Peabody, but I grew up in Salem until I was about 10 or 11. I was like raised in this low income, like Section 8 next, if anyone knows where like Pequot Height is in Salem, but
okay.
right across the street. And I have 4 siblings, and we're all like a year or 2 apart from each other. So it was chaotic in the household. But far from that, I was always interested in cutting hair, but I didn't really understand or know like if I wanted to like jump into it and actually do it as a job. So the earliest memory I have of it is I remember I was like, oh man, 8 or younger, and my parents got me this fake shaving kit. And there's a picture of me in a tub, like with like fake shaving like cream on my face, and I'm like shaving. I'm like, oh my god, I love this. And they actually got me a Build-A-Bear, and I remember taking my dad's clippers and like trying to cut its hair, and it was the funniest thing ever. But fast forward into high school, I was always on YouTube like watching all different types of content, and I stumbled upon like barbering content. So all these videos, people cutting hair and stuff like that, and I just watching it just because it was entertaining, and I didn't really think anything of it. But one of the times, my friend, he was getting his hair cut by his mom, and it was coming out all right, but I was like fucking with one day. I was like, yo, let me cut your hair. Like, I bet I can do a better job than your mom. Like, it not even like an insult way, but I was like, I bet I can do a better job. So we're sitting there. It's fucking 90 degrees in my dad's kitchen on a wooden stool, and I'm like going through the cabinets trying to find anything, any clippers or something like that. So I end up finding a pair of like old ass clippers, and we're sitting there, like it was me, my friend Faisal, and 3 of my other friends, and I have a YouTube video going on the corner trying to figure out what the fuck I'm doing, and it took 3 hours
To cut one hair.
bro. 3 hours. It was hot. He's from Morocco, so he has crazy curly hair, and it's tough. Like that hair is tough to cut, and that was like my first ever time like cutting hair at all. So I'm struggling, and by the end of it, somehow it came out decent.
Okay.
Came out decent. It wasn't the best haircut, but it was better than what he had previously. So after that, like every week or so, he would always he'd let me line him up, or just get little things here and there. And the more and more time goes by, my friends started seeing a little bit more improvement. They were like, okay, it's getting a little bit better. It's getting a little bit better. And that's kind of how it kind of snowballed to where I'm at today. My dad got me this little setup in like the hallway where I'm at my first like apartment in Peabody, and it was just like this little nook, and he got me like this toolbox. I don't even know if I had a barber chair at the time, but I had like a fucking wooden stool, or it was a computer chair, and it was in this little nook where I was starting to finally get people to get their hair cut by me. And it was hard because no one wants to get their hair fucked up, right? That's the worst feeling ever.
Yeah.
Getting a bad haircut, it fucks up everything. You got no confidence. You think everyone's looking at you, and it's just like, it's awful. But that's where I grinded from there. So I started from there, and then we moved over back to Salem from Peabody. And anyways, I went to Beverly. Were you? No, you didn't get a haircut by me there, because you only saw me at
only at the Bourbon Street. Yeah, only at Bourbon Street.
Got you. All right. Well,
Were you charging back at that time?
no,
So everyone that came to you, just free haircuts.
bro. I was cutting hair for free for a while,
Wow,
Okay. How long is a while?
year and a half.
dude.
Wow.
Year.
Did you have a lot of clients at that time?
Not a ton, but enough to make me feel like, damn, man, this sucks.
Okay.
You're cutting people, but you're like, I could be making money, but I don't have the confidence enough.
Shout out to those people though that had that.
Oh,
that
bro,
trust in you to.
They still come to me.
Really? Well, I mean, now it makes sense because you're good, but back then.
Yeah. No, I always try to like preach to everyone like how much I appreciate them coming to me when I was in my dad's basement, or like I was cutting people in the bathroom, bro. I didn't have the lighting was awful, and we had a skylight in the bathroom because we're on the 3rd floor. So I can only cut people at a certain amount of times because it was dependent on like the sunlight. And I started when I was 14. So I didn't have no money. I'm not buying ring lights and shit. That wasn't even like
Not even
really a thing.
Right? Yeah.
So people would get dropped off at my house from the bus and get a haircut by me. But it's
how old are you now?
23.
23. So
Yeah.
almost 10 years. You've been doing
Yeah.
Yeah.
this. Oh wow, that's a long time.
No wonder you're a master at it already.
I try. But yeah, it was free for a while. Then it started just slowly jump up. It was $5, then it was $10, then it was 15, and that jumped to 20, 25. And I really didn't start getting a good amount of money until probably like my senior year of high school. Because I went to a tech school, for those who didn't know. I went to Essex Tech, and I studied there to be an electrician. And I was doing electrical work from, we have like a co-op program. So junior year, you can, instead of going to school for the 1 week of shop, you go to work. Mm-hmm. And I did it for like 2 weeks, and the company actually laid me off because they were like, yeah, we don't need you. Wow. And they just hired me. And I was like, all right. Like, I was working overtime. I was putting in a ton of fucking hours. And that put like a bad taste in my mouth towards like electrical. So, but that was, I think that was my junior or senior year. And then I was like, fuck it, whatever. I'm going to still do it. So in the summertime of junior year, I worked for another electrician, and I was just, like I said, it's tough work. Like you're grinding, you're in the elements, you're outside on the cold ass days or the hot days, you're sweating your ass off. Like, I hated it. And I was like, what am I doing? I would work my ass off for a check at the end of the week for $300. And I was like, what am I doing? $300 and I'm putting in over 40 hours a week. I can't do this shit. And at that time, that's when I really started to like make some money with the cutting hair. So when I started surpassing my money coming in from electrical, I was like, this is a no-brainer, man. I have to just go full speed with this. Mm-hmm. And senior like high school, it was tough because I had my dad saying like, oh, like just do electrical because it's safe, right? Like he didn't really like, he was supporting me. My dad supported me, but he didn't really think that I was gonna make money cutting hair. Yeah. No one did. Even my electrical teacher. My electrical teacher was like, I know you like cutting hair, but I don't think it's really a successful job. Like you can't, like you're not gonna be able to make as much money as you were doing electrical. I was like, all right.
Bet.
Yeah.
Try me.
I was like, all right, like let's see, because I love it. Like when people doubt me, that is the best thing ever. That's the best thing they can do for me is doubt me.
Yeah.
I was like
fuel, right?
Please doubt me, because that's the most motivation that I get is from people saying, oh, you can't do that. Oh, you can't make that much money. Oh, or you can't accomplish that. I was like, all right, fine, watch me. So yeah, and then I mean, I got licensed in, I think I've only been licensed for like 2.5 years. Because I got, like, right out of high school, I went into barber school, got my license.
How long did it take?
Just under a year.
What were the requirements to be able to get your license?
I think it was 1,000 hours.
That's it? I thought it was more.
1,000, I think.
I thought it was 2,000. I could have heard. I was talking to someone the other day, and they said it was like 2,000.
Maybe it depends on where you're getting the license from.
Yeah.
I think it's 1,000 hours.
Okay. Maybe they changed it.
I don't know.
Well, you did 1,000 hours.
You did 1,000 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. He got way more than 1,000 hours.
Of course.
Considering the experience before.
He's got a lot more.
But yeah, no, it's but barber school doesn't teach you really anything. Like that's what a lot of people don't realize.
It's like with personal training.
They don't teach you shit. Like you don't know how to you don't learn how to fade in barber school.
Really?
Barely.
Wow.
They teach you how to do like men's regular haircut, scissors on the side and like a very, very, very light taper in the back, and that's it. And you're offended for yourself. So if I didn't know how to cut hair going into barber school, I would have been screwed. Because you don't really learn anything. And it's not run correctly whatsoever. Like, not trying to bash it, but
right.
it's not ran the way it should be.
And it doesn't look like it's up with the times then if
no, not at all.
You can't even teach a fade.
No, I mean, I can see it now because I still follow them on Instagram, but they're definitely getting better because they're getting a lot more people going in there and like showcasing, like, okay, like teaching them how to fade and how to style and Instagram and all that stuff. So it's definitely gotten better since I've been there. But yeah, when I was there, it was tough. Luckily, I had a really, really good group of people with me, and there was a couple kids probably like 3 or 4 of us that cut hair and had a big clientele beforehand. So we were able to help everyone around us. But yeah, barber, they really don't teach you a lot. So it's kind of just like, you just got to study. Because I learned off of YouTube. That's how I learned. I learned off YouTube and I just studied the shit out of it. I was in school because we got iPads. And I was in school, had my iPad up in class, and I was watching barber videos. Like, you ask any of my friends, that's what I was doing. I was watching it every single day. Every day. Hours. Like 3, 4, 5 hours a day. I would go home and I would watch it. I'd be in school and I'd be watching it. It was just like an obsession.
Yeah.
But that's what you have to...
Yeah.
That's what you have to do to get to where you want to be at. You almost have to be obsessed. If you're not obsessed with it, then you're not going to really accomplish the things you want to accomplish. But
And what is that for you in the sense of like where you want to be at now, at least?
it's funny because I've been thinking about that a lot.
Yeah.
Sense of like what my purpose is and
Because my mind is kind of going as you're talking, and I'm trying to think like, and you were saying like, oh, people would say that you can't make money off of it, but you clearly prove that you can. And then I'm tying it in with personal training, right? And I'm like, there's a lot of people that say, yo, personal training, you can't make money either.
Oh yeah.
But it's so scalable, right? Like online, for example, you can have thousands of clients, really, and whatever. And then now I'm tying it in with being a barber, though. Can you scale it online? How does that work? So like what? And that's why I asked, like, okay, so what's next? Like what's your goal now? Because it's like, is it now just high ticket clients? Is there somehow to do it online?
Gotcha.
Which I don't think there is. I don't know.
Yeah.
But you would know more, so I want to just pick your brain on that.
So for me, like I said, I'm in the mentorship, and what it does is it tries to help people scale up to 20 grand a month. And it's all about social media and getting people in at a higher price point. So your content's going to be driving people in. And the goal for me is I want to scale my business up to 20 grand a month, and then I want to slowly leave out of barbering.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's funny. I want to go towards more of like a life coach and things that's fulfilling, because I love cutting hair. I love it. But I love the interactions and the relationships and the conversations I have with my clients more. Like, if I can give someone advice and they text me a week later, yo, that advice fucking changed my life, or that helped me out so much, thank you. Like, that's more fulfilling to me. That's why I love my job. And I realized that, and the more I think about it, I'm like, I was scared because, like, why would anyone listen to me, right? You have, like, this imposter syndrome, and you're like, I'm young, like, why would anyone take advice from me? Like, I can't be a life coach right now. Like, why would someone look at me and be like, this kid's fucking 23? How is he going to give me an advice as a 40-year-old? But the more I started to realize that is my clients, I cut people 30, 40, 50 years old, and I'm giving them advice and talking to them about simple things like, get a concrete morning routine, get a concrete night routine, fix certain habits that you have that it's just little things, right? And then they come back to me like, I would have never thought about that. I would have never done that. I was like, what? And it made me realize, like, majority of people they can't get out of their own way. And if I can help someone, not just by giving them a haircut and making them feel good for a week, but if I can help someone change their whole life around and change the trajectory of their whole life, that is what's more fulfilling to me.
Have you started?
I actually started today.
I'm sorry. What? You started today, huh?
Bro, I was having a conversation with one of my close friends, and he's in a tough spot, and he was talking to me. He was like, listen, I have no motivation. I have fucking no drive to do anything. And I just feel like my day is just Groundhog Day every single day. It's the same thing over and over and over. And I'm talking to him in the chair, and I'm like, bro, this is an opportunity. Like, you have to. I was like, let's do it. Let's sit down and let's just figure shit out. Like, if I give you a set of things to do and help you with all the things that you're struggling with, I'll do it for free. I was like, I'll help you out for free, because obviously my friend, but I was like, I need someone to be an example of what I could help out with. Like, So I sat down with him today. Actually, I didn't sit down with him, but I FaceTimed him today. And I was like, listen, we're breaking it down. So we broke down literally everything within his life. And I was like, all right. I gave him a very detailed morning routine, detailed night routine. We talked about which habits that he didn't like about himself. And I was like, okay, like what do you want to do to make you feel fulfilled? Like what fulfills you? What, there's plenty of things out there that people can think of, right? But we sat down, and at the end of it, at the end of it, I was like, listen, you're going to read these fucking books, utilize your time in the morning, because he was waking up, giving himself 30 minutes in the morning to get up, get dressed, eat, and get out the door. And people don't realize, you give yourself 30 minutes in the morning to do that, you're anxious all day. You're on edge all day. Mm-hmm. Because like you're rushing around and you have no idea. So you're setting the tone, anxious as hell, and people don't realize, why do I have so much anxiety, right? Why am I so anxious all day? Why do I not feel like good? Well, you woke up.
Look at the way you're living.
Yeah. And look at what you're consuming.
Right.
Talk about social media. Look at what you're consuming.
Bro, just from you saying what you're saying, that to me, that ties into so much of what we talked about before in previous podcasts, like depression and anxiety.
Yeah.
It's like everyone's got all these problems, especially in America. But then you look at their lifestyle, it's like, well, no shit.
Yeah.
No shit, you're depressed. Because you eat like shit. You take you're not taking care of your body at all, so you look like shit.
Yeah.
So like, no kidding.
Yeah.
Let's fix some things, get those results, and then come back to me, and then we'll talk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, I can relate.
That's huge.
I can relate big time.
And then there's the victim mentality. It's like, oh yeah, but blah, blah. Bro, stop. Mm-hmm. Stop.
Yeah. To go into like lightly, I struggled a ton with depression and anxiety, a ton. And a lot of people didn't realize that because in high school I was the popular kid, right? Like everyone's like, oh, this and that, right? But I was probably the most depressed I've ever been in my life in high school.
Okay.
And no one knew at all. Mm-hmm. And I hit a fucking low point. I was going out and I was, doing my thing. I was partying. I was tanking bottles of vodka to the face.
Well, that probably doesn't help it as much.
Yeah.
But it was just like, and it was just because I wanted to feel something because I was so fucking depressed. Mm-hmm. So then I'll go into all this other shit, but I hit a really, really, really low point, and I was like, bro, no one's coming to save you.
Right.
Yeah. Like, no, it doesn't matter what you went through in your life. Like, people go through shit every fucking day, whether you know it or not. Mm-hmm. And I had to kick myself in the ass and realize, like, bro, you stop being a victim. Like, stop trying to justify why you're living the way you are. Oh, like, because you grew up in a fucking abusive household, or your mom does a ton of fucking drugs and and that, or all the, like, I was doing all these things in my mind where I was like trying to justify, and I was like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
And I remember very clearly, like, the turning point of my life, and it was a summer after, not summer, it was, I was 19, and I was on a boat up in Maine with my friends, and we're drinking, do all this stuff, and someone takes a video of me jumping off the boat, bro, and I see the video and I'm like, oh,
that's me.
I was like, I'm a fat shit right now, man. What the fuck? I was like, yo, this isn't me.
Right.
So I literally signed up for the gym. I literally signed up for the gym on the fucking boat.
Oh wow.
I was like, I need to go to the gym. I locked in a year, a commitment for a year. I was like, boom. It was in Blink in Beverly.
Yep.
And then I got home, and like I said, I was trying to justify all these things. I was like, I can't eat the right way because it's expensive, or my parents making me the food, so like I don't have any control over it. So you know what I did? I fucking bought a fridge. I put it in my room. I bought all this shit to cook with, and I started buying my own groceries. Cause like, if I'm gonna complain that my parents' cooking isn't gonna get me to where I want to be at, then I have to fucking do it.
Yeah, 100%.
So I literally bought a fridge. I bought all this stuff and I put it in my room, and I started going to the gym. I started waking up early because I was doing the same thing that everyone else is doing that I was saying. Like, I started work at 10, and I was waking up at 9:30.
Oof. Yeah.
Like
Too early.
yeah,
Too late.
I had no time. Yeah, and I was staying up late. Like it was just zero time. So I started to wake up at 6, and I was like, damn, I have so much free time. Like, what am I doing? Like, what?
Crazy, right?
And then I started with the free time. I was like, well, I have to make the most of it.
Oh.
So obviously, I went to the gym, and I came home, and I'm like, I still have 2 hours, 3 hours. I'm like, all right. So I started reading. I started picking up books, and I started reading. And I remember the first book I read was The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, Mark Manson.
Nice.
Great book. And I started to realize, like, my perspective was so shit. And to the point where, like, little things, you know, when you react to things that happen in such a bad way, like, say someone cuts you off in traffic.
Right.
And you're like, oh, what the fuck? Like, this and that. Like, why?
Right.
Why get so aggravated? And that just sets a whole tone for the whole day.
So do you think that's kind of like the root of certain things? Is like just the perspective?
Oh, huge.
Because speaking for myself personally, I follow this guy on Instagram who lives in Africa, and he always has a line of little kids, you know, ready to get some like rice and things, right?
Yeah.
And I usually always share it whenever he posts a new one. And it's like that perspective of like, bro, like you got it good.
Yep.
Yeah, you're sad, you're feeling depressed or whatever, but don't label yourself as that, because look at what's going on literally like right across the ocean. Like these people should really be depressed.
Oh, yeah.
So like that perspective change just kind of like humbles you, and you're like, okay, it could be way worse.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what am I depressed about? Type of thing, you know?
It's huge.
And obviously there's the things you got to do to work out of it. You know, like you worked out and things like that. But I know that for me, I'll never label myself as depressed. I could feel it, but I'll never give power to it.
No, you can't.
You can't.
Because then you're giving yourself permission to fall into it and accept it as.
And it's so easy to do.
Of course.
When you feel depressed and you start saying that you're depressed, and then people are also confirming that you're depressed, and then now you're like, damn shit, I gotta go to the doctor, and then he's gonna confirm that you're depressed, and then he's gonna give you a pill for your depression. Then you're gonna really spiral into some other shit.
Oh yeah.
And then
it's a snowball.
Then it's
effect.
like, yeah, you're freaking depressed, bro.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's tough too, and nowadays it's even worse.
Yeah.
Right nowadays with social media and everyone comparing themselves to who they see online, it's awful. And everyone's so quick to, and this isn't a knock on medication, right? But my family, I have struggles with depression, anxiety, all this stuff, suicide, shit like that, right? And I grew up, and majority of the people around me were on antidepressants and a ton of medication. And when I hit that low point, I remember talking to one of my clients in the chair, and I was like, bro, like, I don't know what to do. I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm so against the medication because I saw it fucking destroy my family that I was like, I don't know what else to do. I had such a like block in the road, and I was like, I'm not going to go on antidepressants because it's against my values and what I believe in. So it's tough because a lot of people, it's shoved down everyone's throat.
Yeah.
It's all over social media, and it's becoming more and more acceptable to just take the pill instead of looking at your life and trying to fix it.
Right.
Like
nobody actually goes down to the root cause as to why you're feeling what you're feeling.
Yep. Like you got to work through shit, man. Like a lot of people, they want to just push shit down, but if you have trauma, if you have things that you've been through, you have to face it.
Yeah.
You can't run away from it because that stuff will eat you alive.
You have to do the hard work instead of doing the easy work, which is that pill or that bottle.
Yep.
But instead, maybe go talk to someone about it, or actually, do something to help you with that trauma or with that insecurity.
Yeah.
Work out, eat better, have a better friend group instead of having a bunch of losers around you. Maybe going out and surrounding yourself with people who are better than you, who can uplift you instead. I
mean, and it's tough because you tell someone that and like, oh no, I can't cut out all my friends. They're afraid to be lonely. They're afraid not to have people around them.
Misery likes company, company, right?
Yeah, and it's like, bro, if you guys only knew, if you cut out the fucking 4 or 5 people around you that suck, and you just stayed by yourself and took some time to actually figure out who you are as a person, take 3 months and just be by yourself. I bet you anything, your life will completely change. Because no one even knows who they are. Everyone's face is fucking this all day in their phones. Yeah. And they have no idea. They don't even have time to think about who they are and what they like and what they don't like, because they're just so attached to everything else around them.
Someone else's life.
Yeah. They're consumed by the people they see. And it's like, why? It's because they're not who they want to be. So they make themselves feel better by projecting on to the people they see on social media.
And how are you now with that? Would you say that you've overcome it?
With like regarding like depression
and anxiety and things like that?
I don't think it ever really goes away, right? I think that's a lot of times it will come in waves.
Okay.
But what I've done for myself is I realized I need structure, right? For a long time, I was like, I don't want to be that person that needs to wake up at a certain time or needs to do all this. Like, I want to be spontaneous. I want to live my life how I want to live it. And then I realized, bro, that shit's not going to work for me. It's just not it.
Right.
So the things that I did for to keep myself in check was I write down my non-negotiables, right? I need to go to the gym. And if I want to take a rest day during the week, I need to at least go to the gym, stretch, and go in the sauna. Right? Because then if I don't go to the gym and that action of driving to the gym every single morning, and I break that one day, or I break it 2 days in a row, 3 days in a row, then I know for myself, I'm not going to go back into the gym as much as I was before. It's going to mess up the whole routine. So what I did was I wrote down a detailed morning routine. I woke up at 6, jumped right into a cold shower. After the cold shower, straight to the gym. Come home, I put like a protein shake and my vitamins out right on the table from when I do get home. Then I give myself time to write down what I need to do for the day, plan my day out, and I try to journal. And that keeps me level-headed because a lot of people don't talk about anything they're going through, right? And I'm not the type of person that likes to project my problems onto anyone else. So I am a product of that too. I don't like talking to people. I didn't like therapy because I was forced into it from when I was younger. And I had such a bad perspective on it that I was like, I don't want to do it. But I was like, I need to let all the shit out of my brain somehow. So I would journal, and that keeps me...
It's kind of like your form of therapy.
Yeah, it is. And just with that and knowing that without the lows, there's no high, right? If you're trying to push away the feelings that suck, you're not going to enjoy the feelings that are...
You got to feel the things,
If you're numbing out the bad feelings, you're going to numb out the good feelings. Because a lot of people will do that. Like they try to act like they don't feel anything.
What's good without the bad?
Yeah.
If you have no framework of what's bad, then how do you know what's good?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It just makes sense, doesn't it?
There's no value to it if there's nothing opposite of it. Right? If there's no bad, there's no good. You need opposites to have value to it.
Yeah.
If there was if we didn't have money, there would be no value in it, because if you're broke or you're rich,
it wouldn't matter, right?
Exactly.
There's no rich or poor at that point.
Yeah.
Money wise.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn. So what would you say, like, all right, so it's good that it's coming out of your mouth versus our mouths, because Christian and I are very very stern on certain topics like depression, anxiety, and things like that.
Yeah.
So like, tell me, like, let's say someone is going through it.
Yeah.
Like they label themselves as depressed, anxious, the whole thing. What would be your piece of advice as the first steps for them to take to get themselves out of that?
That's a good question. First is take a look at what you're doing every day. What are your daily actions? Like, what time are you waking up at a certain time, or are you sleeping in until 12, 1 o'clock and scrolling on your phone for an hour in your bed, and then getting up and eating shit and then feeling like you have no purpose, right? So I would first just look at your life. Like, look what you're doing. and figure out what you're consuming too on social media, right? Because then if you're depressed and then you're just watching all these people live their life, their best life, and then you're comparing yourself to it, you're gonna get more depressed.
All right.
So put your phone down and take a look at what you're doing, and just get a fucking routine. At least the bare minimum. Start waking up and going to bed at the same time. Bare minimum. Because then, what I think is, if you're able to control how you start your day and how you end your day, especially if someone's a very anxious person, right? You have a sense of control over your day. You can't control what's going on in the middle. You don't have no idea what's going to happen. Anything can happen. But at least if you know you're coming home every single day and you know, okay, I have a nighttime routine. I know exactly what I'm doing. It gives you a sense of control. It gives you some confidence.
Take charge in your life.
Yeah. And then once you start with that, then everything else kind of falls into place. If you're waking up at a certain time and you realize, oh, I have 3-4 hours extra in the morning, what am I going to do? Then you start to fill those in with healthy habits and healthy routines, right? Hey, maybe get up and go for a walk outside. Get some fucking fresh air so you're not stuck in the house all day watching Netflix, doing nothing. And then you go for a walk and you're actually outside in sunlight. You come home and you're like, okay, you're not going to you can't just sit around for 3 hours and do nothing. So I would always say change. What's the word I'm looking for? Fill your mind with the good perspective, right? Whether that's picking up a book and realizing that it's not, you don't need big solutions to solve big problems. It's the little things that can pile up to solve them. Everyone thinks that if something's such a huge problem, like if you're really, really depressed and you're really anxious and you feel like, damn, I don't know what to do. They think just because the feeling is so strong, they think that they need something as strong as that feeling to get them out of it. And that's what a lot of people don't realize is you don't need this crazy thing to get you out of depression or anxiety or wherever you're at. You just need to start small and start actually taking control of your life. It's the little things that build up to help you out. Because everyone wants to be like, oh, you need to fucking, I don't know, go on a vacation or you need to do this and that. It's like, no, like you need to just take some time with yourself and take control of your life. Like,
yeah, it's
the little things.
I completely agree. I think people give a little bit too much power to it and then they just fall victim to it.
And it's tough too because it's the environment as well.
Yeah.
Right? If their parents are a certain way or anything, like their friends are a certain way, like you have to just remove yourself from the environment that built you the way you are. Whether that's going to, what do they have? Like Barnes & Noble has like a little cafe. You can go sit there and you don't have to, you can
read or do whatever you want, go on your laptop or whatever.
Yeah. And just remove yourself a little bit from your environment and take a look at like what you're actually doing.
Yeah, I agree. You agree, Bendera?
I do. Manny, what's a really good book for someone to read to get their mindset right? Because I know you and me have read a lot of books. We've bounced books off each other.
Yep.
So what's a perfect book for someone who just needs to get, a kick in the ass and, get their life right?
First one that comes to my mind is Compound Effect, Darren Hardy. That's a great book. And just... It's just about, have you?
I've heard of it. I think you told me that actually.
Yeah.
A long time ago, yeah.
Yeah, it is a great book. And what the overall idea of it is just like money compounds, interest compounds, right? Decisions compound. Yes. So if you're making these small little decisions every single day, right? Like let's put it into fitness, right? Calories. If you're eating extra 500 calories every single day, you're going to gain a pound or two every single week.
Yeah, you're going to get fat as hell.
Yeah.
3,500 calories total.
Exactly.
A week.
So it's just going to happen, right? But if you minimize those decisions, those little actions that you're doing, it's also going to compound in the right way. And I think it talks about, this is the best, I believe it's this book, The Compound Effect, but this was the biggest mindset shift that I had, and I was like, wow, that is, it completely shifted my like framework of my mind on it. I was like, holy shit. And it talks about friendships, and it talks about there's hour people, there's minute people, there's day people, and there's week people, right? And too many people spend a week with an hour person. And they should be spending a week with a weak person. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
It's, if you're spending a day with someone that you should be spending a week with to grow, you have to change the people you're surrounding yourself with and your priorities. If you're spending a whole week with someone that is like their mindset's shit and they want to drag you out and, you know, they want to go drink and party.
Live
and
for the moment, so maybe they're just like the hour person.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, live fast, die young bullshit.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's not to say you have to cut those people off like altogether.
But just give them their hour.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But just make sure it's like, okay, yeah, like I'm going to see these people for an hour and then I'll be fulfilled and it won't mess up my trajectory. It won't mess up like the direction I'm going in.
Right.
And there's plenty of my friends where I love them, right? But I know I can't spend a whole day with them.
Yeah. And I think over time, like let's say if you're committed to like a certain thing, let's say for example, you want to be your life coach, a life coach, and you have this clear vision for yourself, those day people, hour people, or minute people, they're gonna kind of slowly taper off.
Oh yeah.
Slowly taper off because they can't keep up.
Yeah. And it sucks when you first start it because you're like, oh man, like I'm losing all these people. Mm-hmm. But then you really get into it and you're like, wow, my life is so much better without these people constantly pushing all this like bullshit perspective onto me. Or like the victim mentality. Like if you're around 2 or 3 of those people, man, it is so draining.
Mm. Yeah.
That shit will like, it will rip you apart.
It's terrible because it's almost like you want to just coach them in a way and be like, bro, stop looking at it that way. And then, but like they'll argue to the death.
Yeah.
And it just drains you. You're like, bro, like how can you just not see it?
They'll defend their misery. They'll defend the depression.
Yes. I want to say something. It's
What's up, man?
Business related. I don't usually talk, but I need to step in.
Welcome.
Alex.
So negativity, man. Like when you have negative people around you, bro, that shit sticks.
Oh yeah.
It's shit.
Yeah.
100%.
And they drain you down with them.
Yeah.
In business, relationship, in everything.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And you know what's the funny part? Sometimes you doubt about yourself.
Yeah.
So it gets to that point where you will start to doubting about yourself.
Yeah.
Bro, you gotta cut off those people.
Yep.
Right away. As soon as you identify them,
Yeah.
cut them.
Yep. I agree completely. And because it also makes you realize, like, you start to think that, oh man, maybe I'm that type of person. Oh,
Yeah.
maybe I possess those qualities too.
Yep.
And then you start going down this rabbit hole and you're like, damn. And it's all from that one person. And you know what? Reality check, sometimes it's your fucking family.
Yeah.
Yes,
Right.
sir.
Sometimes it's your family. And most of the time it's your family. And those are the people that are going to
closest
doubt
to you,
you.
right?
Yeah.
The closest.
Bro, they're going to doubt you. They're going to, because they want to put you in this box of like who they know you as. And then they don't want to see you outside that. Right? So majority of the time, like it's you're going to have to cut yourself off from maybe some family members, maybe even your parents. Right? And that's all right. Because if you actually put the effort into finding good people around you, you will feel fulfilled around them. You will feel good. They will become your extended family. They'll become family to you. But if your family is dragging you down and doubting you and putting you in this shit place and you're constantly around them and just because you're justifying it as, oh, they're my family, I have to keep them around. No, you don't. You can't pick who your family is, right? You can't choose who you're born into, like the family you're born into. But you can choose whether you want to spend the time with them or not, whether you want to consume the shit that they're saying to you, or whether you want to identify with who they are. Like most people, like I grew up and my family didn't have a lot of money, right? We weren't dead, broke, poor, but we were not well off. And I remember sometimes, like, bro, me and my dad, we would go food shopping at the dollar store. And a lot of people don't know that, but I was going food shopping with my dad at the dollar store, and I remember it to this day. And at that time, I was so young, so I didn't think anything of it, right? I just thought like, oh, we're going to the dollar store. Like, he would get me these like toys, and it would be like, all right, yeah. But now that I look back at it, and I'm like, holy shit, bro! Like my fucking dad was going grocery shopping at the dollar store. That's fucking crazy, and it puts shit into perspective, but.
Sometimes with your family members, like I said, you can't choose who they are, but you can choose what time to give them. They might be an hour person.
That's exactly right.
They might be a minute person if they're that bad, or a second person.
Yep.
And if they're that bad, you shouldn't be giving them a day, a week, a month, a year, lifetime.
Yeah.
You might have to give them just that hour.
Yeah, and it's tough because you know those family members that are like, oh, but I'm your family though. You know, you do anything for family. It's like, bro, what the fuck have you done for me? Where were you when I was in low as hell? When I was depressed? When I was fucking like, where were you? Like when they come out of the woodworks when shit's going good, and like, oh man, like, oh, it's so nice to see you. Like I haven't seen you. How you been? It's like, motherfucker, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to have this fucking. This surface level conversation with you. Just get out of here. Like I that shit. I used to get so affected by that, and like it used to bother me a lot. And now I just accept it as what it is. And I'm like, there's some times that you're gonna have to realize your family is some of the most people that are dragging you down.
I agree. Sometimes you could say that it's out of love because they want the best for you.
Of course.
But sometimes, you know, they just are maybe, like as you said, they don't want to see you as something they don't already see you as. They don't want you to become more successful than they were.
Oh, yeah, they're envious.
Exactly, they're envious.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, it's tough because a lot of people will never realize that because they don't want to realize it.
Yeah.
And the big thing is they'll associate just because, oh, my family was broke, so I can't achieve things. I can't be rich. Oh, I can't do this. I can't do that. Like one of the biggest things that my dad did for me when I was younger, and I'm so grateful. And we're talking about family here, but bro, I am so grateful for my father. Like I don't want anyone to get the wrong idea of like me just preaching about this, but I love my dad, and he did so much for me. He continues to do so much for me. And one of the biggest things that he would always instill this mindset is you can do anything you want to do as long as you put your fucking mind to it. As long as you put the work in, you will achieve anything you're able to. And he always reminded me that every single day when I was fucking younger. Every day. He'd always make sure that. And I would always tell him. I remember driving by these houses and I was like, yeah, I'm that's going to be mine one day. And he was like, it will be. And he never doubted me. He was never that person who was like, oh, nope, no, that's not going to happen. We can't do that. We don't have money. You know, it was never that. It was like, I believe that. Like, I believe you. You can do anything you want to do. So to this day, we'll have a conversation. Like, I know you're going to do it. I know you're going to do it. And like, that is my biggest reason, I think, why I have the mindset I have today. Like, if I say I'm going to do something, and I have no fucking doubt in my mind that I'm going to achieve it. And that's, a lot of people will have doubt. They'll have like, oh, you know, I set this goal, but I don't know if I'm able to achieve it. Bro, if I set a fucking goal, I know I'm achieving it. Maybe it's not in the time limit that I want it to be in, but I know at the end of the day that I'm going to achieve it. And a lot of people, if they just had that similar mindset and perspective, they'd be a lot better off right now. Some people just doubt themselves because their family doubts who they are, or because their family has never accomplished the things that they want to accomplish. So they think it's not in their blood. Oh, I can't do it because my family never did it. Oh, we're not that type of family. I'm not that type of person.
That's what my mindset.
Or I'm just the way I am. Bro, I fucking hate that. I hate that shit, bro. Even Casey will tell you this, right? My girlfriend Casey, she used to say this shit to me all the time. She'd be like, I can't change that. That's the way I am. I'm like, Casey, don't you ever say that to me again. Like, I don't want to hear it. I was like, you can change whatever the fuck you want to change in your life if you actually put the effort into it. I was like, don't ever say, that's just who I am. Bro, you are who you are because the fucking decisions you have. The decisions you make, rather.
Just with that mentality right there.
Right there.
Is the reason why you won't change.
And I hear it, and the more I hear it, the more I'm like, wow, that's the reason why these people are fucking where they're at. It's because that's just the way I am. Well, I guess that's just the way. I guess it is. I guess it is because you're never gonna fucking grow and change because that's the mindset you have, and that's the way it's gonna stay because you're not gonna want to fucking push yourself out of your comfort zone. Because like, I don't like that. That's just the way I am, or I don't want to do that. That's just who I am. Like what? That's such a.
It's a cop out.
I will never understand people that. I understand it, but I don't get how they can just live their life like that.
Some people, man, they just are comfortable being that. They don't want to be uncomfortable with change, because with change comes a lot of uncomfortability.
Yeah.
And I think that's why a lot of people
Change
have
is
that
hard.
issue. Yeah, change is hard. Don't get me wrong.
Especially when it's like within yourself.
Oh, yeah.
And everyone goes through it.
Of course.
So you got to dig up some demons, some skeletons that are deep rooted.
Bro.
And you got to like really, work through that by yourself.
Yeah.
Or you can get some help. Sure, there's
course.
therapy and things like that. Sure. I know that for me, I want to do it myself.
Yeah, I'm with you.
You know what I mean?
I'm with you, bro.
So it's deep.
You need to. You're the only person that can do it.
You're the only one that can save you.
That's it.
Even if you go to therapy,
Yeah.
they're only going to help you for yourself to help yourself.
You have to.
They're not going to do the work for you.
They're just putting the things in your mind, right?
Right.
But you have to do the fucking actions,
right.
man.
You have to work.
You're not. No, it's no one's coming out, knocking on your door and being like, "Yo, bro, I'm here to save you."
Right.
No, motherfucker, you got to do it yourself.
It's like, yes, it's nice to talk it out and release that, but you can talk to yourself.
Yeah.
Look at yourself in the mirror and be like, oh, I'm an asshole. I do this. I'm fat. Be your own damn therapist.
bro, but no one wants to truly admit who they are.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Because they don't even know. Some people just don't even.
But people, sometimes they do know, but they don't want to admit it.
Yeah.
They don't want to admit it to themselves. So that's why they keep themselves low because they're like, they want to justify how they feel in their head by the actions they push out, right? The actions they do are justifying how they feel inside. And that's why a lot of people will just sit and do the same thing over and over again, even though it's destroying their life. The self-sabotaging, right? But it's because they feel so shitty inside, so they're trying to replicate that feeling with the actions. And bro, if you just took some time to yourself and realize like, yo, you're sabotaging your own life. You're destroying your own life just because you feel some type of way inside. Take some time, bro. Meditate. I'm huge on meditating. Meditating helped me out so much because I was that type of person. My mind is constantly going. It is constantly on from the fucking moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed, man. It is on. And one thing I did was when I started meditating, I was like, wow, my mind has never not had a thought in it. It's always like running, but I took it was 10-minute guided meditation on YouTube, right? I put it on, put my headphones on, and I was like, holy shit. This is the most at peace my mind has ever been in my life. And when people hear meditation, they think of like a monk. They think, you know what I mean? Like they have such, that's their mindset on, that's perspective on it.
Yeah.
But I truly believe if people started to meditate, right, and what it does, it's just you're with yourself. You're not distracting, like you're not being distracted by anything else, but you're with your own thoughts.
Yeah, you're blocking.
And you're truly with your own thoughts. You're not doing anything. Your eyes are closed, and you're sitting there, and you're observing your own mind. We have metrics to. This is something I always say. We have metrics to measure everything in this world, right? We have metrics to measure money or measure time or weight or any of that, right? We have no metric to measure our own mental health, right? You have to do that shit for yourself. So that's journaling, right? You journal because you look back and you're like, oh, bro, all right, this is how I keep my shit on track. You journal. You don't have to journal every single day, but something that I would do is every single Sunday, I would sit down and I would journal about the week. What happened, how I felt, things that went on, and I just let everything out. But that's the metric to hold yourself to. It's like, okay, I look back at some of the journals I wrote, and I wrote these journals. I started in 2016.
Oh wow.
It's 2017, right? And there's some dark shit in there. There's some real fucking dark shit in there.
You probably look back at like, damn, who was I?
Oh yeah, bro. I look back and I'm like, man, and I've cried, bro. I've cried to some of the journals I've wrote. I read it now and I'm like, wow, bro. I knew I was in a dark place, but I never thought it was that bad. But
that's probably also kind of nice now, looking back at it.
And I was just,
because you're like, damn, I got myself to here.
Yes.
I can't even believe I was that
and
far
that's,
gone.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, that's the metric, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what keeps the motivation within you and the drive to be like,
That's
I'm making a
interesting, 'cause
difference.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that's interesting because I've never heard that perspective of the metrics thing and
Yeah.
how that's how you can measure it.
Of course.
That's actually really cool.
And it's just because, like, if people think that they're not making a difference, it's like when you're working out, right? And you're looking yourself in the mirror every single day. And you're like, damn, I'm not making a change, man. I'm not seeing my abs aren't coming in, bro.
That's Christian's day to day right there.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not seeing the abs coming in, right?
Hey, let me see your abs, Vinicius.
Bro, I would, but it's behind this beautiful button up shirt.
As Dan would say,
it'd be a shame to take this off. So
as Dan would say, the washboard is there. There's just a lot of clothes on it,
Exactly.
and that's what you have. A lot of
Exactly.
clothes.
Nice
Me,
clothes.
I don't have
Can't
any.
take this off right now. You
I
know?
don't have any clothes on mine. Just washboard.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
But hey, I was saying it's like looking in the mirror and like every single day you're not going to see a difference, right?
Right.
But you might be making progress, but you have no idea.
Yeah.
Because you're looking at it, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
The same thing with your mind, right? You're like, oh, my mindset is shifted, right? But you're not going to notice it because you're with yourself every single day. You have nothing to look back on and be like, oh, my mindset was different there. You might have old videos of yourself doing fucking stupid shit and you're like, oh, I would never do that now, right? But if you don't have that, there's no metric to see your growth. So
Yeah.
just write, even if it's once a month, right?
It's something.
It's something to look back on and be like, I've grown mentally. Because, bro, I look back at, and we talked about the victim mentality shit, right? And the mindset. I look back at some of the journals and I'm like, wow, bro, I feel so sorry for my past self because I was like, damn, like that's the mindset you had, bro? Like that's the shit that you were stressing over? Like, and that's why I'm so passionate now about becoming like a life coach because I've been to a fucking the darkest of the dark, like deepest fucking, you know what I mean?
You're coming with experience, so that's already like a leverage, I think, in that field.
Yeah, and I'm a very empathetic person. I have a ton of empathy, and I feel very, very, very deeply. And that shit, and if you're an empathetic person, you'll understand like what that feeling is. Like if you're around people and this people are talking about shit that they're going through, like you feel that shit in your chest. And it sucks because sometimes like all they need to do is just sit down with the right person and have the right conversation to change their mindset, change their perspective. Realize like you don't have to do a million things to change your whole life around. Just do 2-3 simple things and it will be a completely different world. You'll have a completely different life. Right? It's like, this is another little analogy I like to do, is it's like going to a movie, a 3D movie, right? You know, when you're younger, they give you the glasses, 3D glasses. Bro, if you go to the movie without the glasses on, the movie looks like shit. You can't see what's going on, right? You don't see anything. It's all blurry. It's all different colors, right? As soon as you put the 3D glasses on, it's a completely different movie. And you're able to actually see what's going on. You're able to actually process what's going on. That's how it is in life. If your perspective is shit, your glasses are off, bro. You can't see.
You need new glasses?
You need new glasses. You need to put fucking the right pair of glasses on so you can actually see what's going on in your life. And you can actually look and be grateful for the shit that's around you. Because a lot of people, they're walking around this world mad at the world or you know, upset about all this stupid shit, but it's like, bro,
the government and the weather.
Yeah, it's like you're not going to be able to control any of that, right? As much as you want to fucking sit and sulk in your own problems and cry about shit, like that, you're never going to be able to change any of that.
Yeah.
So shift your perspective on the shit that you can change and just be grateful for the things that are around you, the people that are around you. Like being able to wake up and have a job and have money.
Facts.
Right? There's a lot of people that don't have a job, don't have money, and are struggling to feed themselves, to feed their family. Like, be grateful. Yeah. Sit down and I had it was someone that told me to write down every single day 5 things that I was grateful for, right? I did this for 3 months. I wrote down every single day 5 things I was grateful for, and I couldn't repeat. You can't repeat. Bro, the third day in, you're like, oh, what am I grateful for? But what that does to you is it forces you to think deeper, to think at things that you wouldn't be grateful for, and you realize, oh shit, I am grateful. Right in the beginning, it's like, oh, I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for my job. I'm grateful for
all the
food, right? And then it's the third day, and you're like, damn, bro, I'm grateful it's fucking sunny out today. That's, you know what I mean? Or it's I'm grateful that this person, smiled at me at the grocery store when I walked by.
It makes you really hone in on the little things now.
Yep. And then what that does to your whole perspective is you start to look at the world in a completely different light.
Yeah.
And you start to realize and be grateful for the little tiny things. Yeah. And life isn't so bad at that point, right? Because then you start to realize like there is shit to look forward to in this world. There is things that are going to make you feel good, right? But you just have to just change your perspective. And it sounds hard, but it's not. It really isn't. You just have to just start. People always be like, oh, I'm going to start. Like the conversation I had with my friend, with the life coach, right? I was telling him, he's like, oh, like, I was talking about the book. And he's like, yeah, like, I can go buy it. I was like, bro, buy it right now. I was like, buy it right now. Buy the audiobook and start it right now. I was talking to him. He's like, yeah, I need to go to the store because I didn't get coffee or I didn't get something for his house. And I was like, bro, buy audiobook right now and then listen to it on the way to the store. Start now, right?
Yeah.
He did. And I got a text 15 minutes later. It's like, wow, it's 15 minutes in and my whole perspective has already changed. And that right there, bro, and that right there was my sign to be like, yeah, this is it, bro. This is what I want to be doing with my life. Like, this is the fucking shit that I want to do.
So how are you going to make that pivot?
That's something that I'm still trying to figure out. I think, you guys know, like, I want to do a podcast, and I have a setup, literally like a setup like this, not like this, but a smaller in my room, in my apartment. I have it. Yeah. And it's been sitting there haunting me fucking for 2 years because I just look at it every single day, man.
Everybody says they're going to do certain things.
Yeah. But, yeah, I think I want to start coming out with some episodes soon. I've actually sat down and really like figured out the lighting and the cameras and all that shit, but
2024, man, no better way to start.
Yeah, but the thing is, I want to start putting out clips and videos and the conversations and opening up people's mindset and perspective about just life in general. Well, it doesn't have to be about just like personal growth. It could be about business, or it can just be about other things, but just opening people's mind up to things that they may not have been aware of before. Mm-hmm. But I guess back to your question, yeah, I'm not entirely sure how that pivot's going to work, but I know I want to do it this year or next year.
You can probably balance the two, don't you think?
Yeah.
You start with the clients that you already have.
Yeah, and that's like my first step was today.
That's exactly what just happened today.
Yeah. So it's, I want to get to a point where I'm cutting hair like 3 times a week, but like I said in the beginning, I'm trying to scale it, right? So I plan on hitting 20 grand a month this year with my business. Mm-hmm. So once I get to that point, then, because in the world we live in, you have to agree that, bro, someone's going to look at me and be like, why am I going to take advice from this guy, right? I'm already at a disadvantage because I'm younger for life coach opportunities, right? Because everyone's like, this kid hasn't lived anything, so how is he going to teach me how to live my life, right? But if I'm a 23, 24-year-old making 20 grand a month plus, then their eyes start to, okay, yeah, maybe I can take a little bit of advice from them, whether it's business or not, right? But that's going to get me some traction into potential clients. And once I'm at that point, then I can start putting out a little bit more testimonials from the people that I reach out to. Because I'll do it for free for a while. Right? I don't plan on charging anyone for a little bit until I'm up and running and have people seeing if the things actually work that I'm telling them. But yeah, I mean, I it's either this year or next year. I'd like to really, really do it because I want to take control of my life. I want to travel. I want to do that, and I can't with. Go ahead.
You can
And I can't with, being at a place where I'm servicing, right? Like I have to be at that place making money. So my plan is to get passive income this year and build it up so that I can slowly lean off of cutting hair and have the two in tandem with each other. So
I was gonna say I feel like you could do both anyways and not have to wait because you can document the process almost. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Because it's like, I don't know what you're making now, but let's say your goal is to 20K. You document that process so people can see the evolution. And as you're making, even if you're documenting the process, this is just what I think you should do. Is like, let's say you make an extra 1K a month. Like that's already gonna appeal to a certain audience already. Like, damn, I could already get another K if I just listen to this guy. Like as you're documenting the process and then you get there, you already kind of have a base following, I think. I would think. And then when you're there at your goal and you're just kind of pivoting more to the podcast and the life coaching stuff, I think you'd already have a base. That's just what I'm seeing. I think you should try to think about. Just like you told your guy, like, yo, buy it now. Yeah. It's like, what are we waiting 2025 for?
I know,
like, do it now.
Yo, sometimes it's hard to take your own advice, man.
You know what I'm saying? Because, like, this podcast would not have existed if we weren't just like, let's just do it.
Yeah.
Because, like, we just wanted to hop on other people's podcasts. So that was my vision initially. Like, oh, I want to get on this guy's podcast.
Gotcha. Yeah,
right? Like, because they're local. The people that I'm talking about is actually local. They're very, very fucking successful. Like,
I know.
You know? And I was like, and I've messaged two of them. I was like, oh, yo, like, you down? Crickets, right? Yep. So then I hit up Alex. I was like, yo, come to the gym. Let's figure out what the podcast setup would be like. And then I was like, all right, way too expensive. And he's got his spot. He was like, yo, we can do it here. We can get the green lights. And it's like, all right, bet. Let's do it. And like, we're about to post like 16, 17, whatever episode it is.
This is the 20th.
This is the 20th episode, right? So it's like, just go, bro.
Yeah.
Take your own advice, my friend.
I know,
Just
man.
start today. I need to see an episode up by today.
You know what's funny? I actually started. Me and Mike recorded like an hour and a half, 2-hour podcast.
Never got posted, right?
Bro, my camera cut off, and he just had his. So you probably seen the little clips from it. He posted a while back, but bro, my camera cut off.
Yeah.
And I lost all the footage.
Oh shit.
So that put me in a point. I was so excited to do it, and I was like, "Damn, man!"
That's why you need Alex.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why you need Alex,
bro.
Alex,
I was like, I was ruined, and then I was like, "Nah, I can't." And I was like, "Oh, I'll just post up the audio." And I was like, "No." I was like, if I want my first ever podcast, like I want to do it right.
Yeah.
And that's my own flaw, right? I'm a perfectionist, and I always overanalyze everything. I need it to be perfect. And that's something that I constantly work towards every day. I'm like, bro, you have to put the product out to get feedback and to get the criticism and to realize what you need to change in order for you to actually get to where you want to be.
Now imagine you started today and you had a year's worth of feedback and testing and trying.
It's like you guys are doing here.
That's exactly what we're doing.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we.
Because you need
the
the
amount
feedback.
of things that we've changed. Am I right, Alex? Our intro, the thumbnails, everything. The process of just posting on YouTube is a headache.
The editing process, everything.
That guy.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
It's
so if you're gonna do it by yourself,
hey,
that's even more.
Yeah.
Hey, but if you need someone to do it,
exactly.
there he is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's something we learned from our last podcast. It's like he has people that take care of all the little stuff, so he wins back time. So like in our case, Alex, he does the editing for us. It's like there's no way in hell I'm gonna be able to edit as good as Alex.
Yeah.
If I tried, I'd be at home for 12 hours.
Oh yeah.
There goes my time.
Yeah, big time.
You see what I'm saying?
You can get better, but you know it's gonna take time.
Dude, it's gonna take time that I don't want to take. You know, we already run the gym, like, so you gotta focus on your content.
So that was the thing that I was struggling with. It was like I was trying to do all this thing, and me and Mike, we opened up a LLC for Airbnb, and I bought a second mentorship, and it was all about getting an Airbnb business and scaling it and getting passive income. So, bro, I was doing my business, trying to post content, trying to start the podcast, and then try to do all these things at once. And I was like, and my business started to fail. I started making less and less money, and bro, and I was like, what is going on? And I was like, what's going on is you have no focus. You're focusing on fucking 6 different things. Just focus on one and just drive that.
Yeah.
And that's when I started to really see the results. But and back to what you were saying, in one of the mentorships, he does talk about pushing everything out to other people and just paying for it. Because like, you're not going to, some people want to do it for like an ego thing, right? They'd be like, oh, I want to edit. I want to do everything myself. Like, it's like, bro, you have to admit that like, that's not your lane, bro. Like you need to sub it out. And that's anything in life. Like if you can't be the best at everything.
No.
You could be good, but you're only going to be the best at, 1, 2, 3 things. Because you need that obsession and that focus and that drive towards that one thing to actually build it up to where it needs to be.
For sure.
Yeah, definitely. Manny, thank you so much
That
for
got
coming
deep.
on. Yeah, it got really, really deep.
That got so deep.
Very much.
It was a pleasure.
I did not
liked it a
expect
lot.
it to go the direction it went.
Really?
Yeah. Crazy. With the depression and all that.
Manny,
Yeah. I was thinking about, you know what? I want to touch on this because I think a lot of people would benefit from it.
Yeah.
They look at me like they don't think that I would go in that direction, or like, I don't know. I think it's a topic that is very misinformed and it's not given the light of day that it should. And I'm not saying like the depression's I'm saying like, bro, just getting your shit together.
Yeah.
Like how easy it actually can be to change your life.
Yeah.
100%. Definitely. Well, everyone, if you want a life coach, Manny's
Yes.
taking clients.
Hell yeah.
So there you go, Manny. Maybe you'll find someone on here, or someone will find you on here.
Maybe.
So
One
then
of,
maybe
one
this
of our
will start.
YouTube trolls that fucking
Yeah. Oh, we have a lot of
complain
those.
about everything.
He's
too.
be like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
Who else is good?
Maybe I'll
What-
get you guys some good
Oh,
comments.
his
Get Rick.
Everyone's favorite insult to us is that someone's wrong with our face and that we're clowns.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was Rick.
Yeah. I'm like,
Fucking
what the hell's
Rick.
wrong with our faces?
Yeah,
Yeah,
fuck
right?
Rick.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Rick.
Fuck Rick. Don't be like Rick.
Poor Rick. His ears are ringing right now.
Yeah. He looks like a fucking loser. All right.
Well, thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much,
This
Manny.
was awesome.
So much for coming on. But first, before we close out, we want to thank the sponsors for this video because without them, we would not be able to do this video.
True.
So the first sponsor we want to thank is the BACP Group, which is Alex's business. Without Alex, we would not be able to do this podcast. So Alex has done so much for us. He edits the videos for us. He also does photos and video shoots. He also has a boudoir shoot as well for all you ladies out there.
Oh.
Yeah. So, guys or ladies, if you want Alex for any of your services, hit him up. He is second to none. He's the best at it. Literally, I shit you not. He's so good that you'll freaking like be mind blown. So hit up Alex.
Check me out.
Check him out. Check him out. We also want to thank NutriMeals. So, being business owners can be hard sometimes, and sometimes we're kind of lazy. Also, we don't want to cook our food and prep it and put in, Tupperware and then lug it everywhere and eat it. So with NutriMeals, they take the hassle out of all of it. So what you do is you go online, you order. They have so many options. There's gluten-free, high protein, low sodium options. So many options to have. Just go online. Order it. They'll deliver it to you. You don't even need to freaking go pick it up at all. They could deliver it to your house. But if you do want to go deliver it or get it picked up, they have a bunch of locations all around to be able to go pick it up. So NutriMeals, use KMF40 at checkout for 40% off your first order. And if you're a member at KMF Strong, it's 5% off. Add it on every order for the rest of your life. NutriMeals, give them a try. All right. There There we go.
Mr. Host over
Mr.
there.
Host, yeah. I have to be. But before we close out the podcast completely, Manny, after every podcast, we always like to get these rapid fire questions out for our guests.
Gotcha.
These questions right here are meant to be fun. They're all math, by the way. So break out the calculator.
All right, let's do it.
Because math is fun.
Because math is so much fun. But they're not supposed to be serious. So, are you ready, my friend?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Do you prefer cutting hair on the head or beards?
The head.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Is cutting hair a workout?
Yeah, bro. Sometimes your shoulders or like you're like this all day and my traps and my everything's all tight at the end of the day. So yeah, that definitely can be a little bit of a workout.
Definitely. And now what kind of workout would you rather do? Push, pull, or legs if you had to work out?
Push.
Cool.
Attaboy.
Yeah, I got to do push.
Whose celebrity haircut would you like to cut?
That's a good question. Damn. There's this guy I look up to, Devin LeVake. He runs,
I don't know who he is.
what is he? He has like a bunch of things, but
Okay.
he does like events
Okay.
and he does things with Pro Mix, all this stuff. But yeah, he's me and Mike just bought one of his mentorships. So
You want to cut his hair?
yeah,
Cool.
I am gonna cut his hair. You know why? Because I'm gonna bring my clippers to one of the events that we're going to. So
Attaboy.
That's it.
There you go. And now the most important question of them all. Last question and the most important question of all. Ass or tits?
ass, bro.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
It's all about that cake.
Definitely. All right. Awesome. Thank you so much, Manny. We appreciate it. Do you want to give everyone your social?
Yes, Alves the Barber on Instagram, TikTok, everywhere else, Facebook, and then I have a second one, Manny Alves, and that's probably what I'm gonna start posting like a lot of my life coach stuff on. So I plan on doing little, I have like a setup just like this, like just like a camera, a mic, and like a chair. So just do little like clips of me talking. So just to build up some traction with it. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Manny. Vinicius, Alex, do we have anything else to add for the podcast? Do you want to add anything else for our closing notes?
I'm good.
Okay.
That was good.
Cool. But yeah, thank you
Talk
so
to
much.
coming soon.
We appreciate it.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. All right, everyone. That's going to be it for the podcast today. And until next time, see you then.
We gonna